Yes?
My question is actually kind of interrelated to a portion of the answer you were just giving. Many of us, as you know, some people in here are at the point of getting ready to graduate and launch new business projects. Others of us are at the very beginning stage. Looking at how you are already CEO, chairman, and producing well in a top company, what are some characteristics and capabilities that you see in your own leadership team or in growing portions of your leadership that we need to make sure are qualities that we see in creating our own new leadership?
Yeah, that's a really a question that's at the heart of a lot of what we're talking about internally right now. We have a lot of work going on this on the topic of leadership, and what kind of people do we want. So I give you a couple of points. One, passion. I keep coming back to passion. You want people who are passionate about what they do. I'm going to embarrass somebody in the audience. So Joe Mealy, Joe, raise your hand. Joe, how many years have you worked with us?
21.
21. So Joe and I have known each other just about, our whole careers. I'm 25, he's 21. And, sorry, Joe. Joe's phenomenal at what his day job is. But one of the things we think is really important, we think it's very important to be an important part of the community. And we do a food drive every year. And Joe is one of the, couple of central leaders who make this happen. And every year we say, how are we going to top this year? And we do. And we do it every summer. And this year, I think 1.1+ million items of food at a time when people really needed it. And the passion that comes across, from Joe and his colleagues who are leading this effort for us is palpable. And you go down there and you're inspired by it. And so, it's a little example, but somebody who's sitting here in the audience, but we look for people with passion and people who, who are, I'll call them believers. They believe in the mission. They want to see us do the right thing for the client, for the right thing for our crew. So that's, passion's really important. The second thing that I think is really vital in building a leadership team is you cannot allow complacency to set in. And this is a little harder because it's a natural phenomenon. You work really hard, you have some success. You kind of want to sit back and, relax a little bit. The world's way too competitive for that. Okay, the world is just way too competitive. And so you've got to look for people who have a drive to continually improve what they're doing and how they're doing things and so forth. And that actually takes there are a couple of dimensions captured there. One is just sort of the ambition to keep improving. The other is the ability to learn. And again, I'm a huge believer in lifelong learning. One of the reasons I love doing things like this, I'm going to get way more out of this than you guys have gotten, just by your questions. All right, the fact that you've asked some really interesting questions, I'm going to go home and I'll jot some of them down, and there'll be things I share with my leadership team. This was on a group of people's. This was what's on a number of people's minds right now, and it'll be a real learning experience for us. You have to have that commitment to lifelong learning. The third thing, and this is a tricky one because we talk a lot about balance and whatnot, but hard work matters. Okay, don't kid yourself. Hard work matters, and again, it's a very competitive world out there, and you can't go through kind of half-baked. And so, that doesn't mean a lot of you have to have hundreds of hours of face time. You can't have work-life balance, but you got to realize that at the task at hand to accomplish it sometimes takes really rolling up your sleeves and hard work. So, the passion, the lifelong learning, commitment to improvement, if you will, and then the hard work. Those three broad dimensions are the things we try to assess in every single person who comes through, and certainly in our leadership team, we want them to walk the walk in those areas.